I think this is going to be a bumper episode, believe it or not.
Welcome to the official Unofficial Sea of Thieves podcast, a podcast dedicated to Sea of Thieves and other rare games, but mainly Sea of Thieves. And for this episode, we are a little late with recording because real life got in the way, but we will be talking about the Xbox Showcase. For the first time in a long time, the Sea of Thieves trailer we got was a little disappointing, but luckily there were also some highlights we are also going to discuss. But this won't be the only topic, because we will also be discussing some of the upcoming changes discussed in the latest Sea of Thieves news update, like the adjustments to the sailing speed of ships and the adjustments to the double barrel flintlock. And yes, we will also be complaining and moaning about the Pirate Emporium again. And the best person to do that with is right here.
Hello, it's me, AShinyRay.
He's back. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Sorry I missed out last time. Real life got in the way of that one as well for me. I'm currently buying a house, so sometimes I have to go up, drive an hour away and sign some contracts, which is always fun.
It's not my real life. I have no life. The only thing I do is recording podcasts. So there you go. And for this one, you also got sick. So it's a bit later. I still hope people are interested in this episode.
I imagine we've blended the topics nicely here. I think it's going to be a good show.
Yes. Originally we just wanted to talk about the showcase, but now we can complain again about the Pirate Emporium. That's why people are listening to us, right?
Yeah.
Speaking about listening to podcast episodes, did you listen to our previous episode?
I haven't got around to it, I'm such a bad friend. I did listen to a little bit of it, just to see what the vibe was like, but I will go back and listen to it.
You're not the only one. I hoped the previous episode, for those that don't know, was with Casey Baker, the author of the Sea of Thieves cookbook. I was really happy getting Casey on the podcast, but it didn't perform all that well, sadly. So if you have not listened to the episode, it's a great one. It really is. Even if you don't plan on buying the cookbook, still give it a listen. It's a really fun episode.
Still need to get that cookbook.
Well, I'm gonna give it to you.
The cookbook, right?
Yeah.
just make phrasing, my friend.
Exactly. So yeah, it's not my first language, English. I can make these mistakes. Are you ready for this double feature podcast?
Yeah, I wonder if it'll be double the length, though. I don't think it will be.
No, I still think it will be one of the shortest we recorded. Let's start with the showcase, because we watched it with our friends. That was really fun. We watched it with our crew. But what do you think of the podcast? What do you think of the showcase overall?
It was better than last year. There was last year was missing that big oomph moment for me. And I had that this year, and it wasn't because of Sea of Thieves. It felt like a neat showcase, especially considering that the slop that Sony put out, and every other publisher is doing it at the moment. To be fair, Microsoft is the biggest publisher in gaming at the moment, so that's to be expected, really, that they have the best showcases. What about you?
Yeah, same. It's funny. It's definitely better than last year. The Sea of Thieves segment was less than last year for some reason. We'll talk about that. But it did have another highlight that really resonated with me. It's different than yours, which is fun. But there was another game. I was like, oh wow, this game is actually looking good. I'm really excited to play that, and that's also something we talk about. But it was fun. I say one thing that I do kind of miss of these showcase, because when you're a gamer and you watch E3 or you watch a showcase or you watch Nintendo Direct, the thing you want is just games. Just show me the trailer, show me gameplay, go. And that's what they're doing. But there's a part of me that really misses these developer talks as well, because we want to hear the passion, right, from the developers. Like when Sea of Thieves was first announced, they did it together with Rare Replay, I think, and it was like, oh, like we've been kind of losing ourselves these past years as a company, but now we're doing something we're really passionate about.
Yeah.
It's called Sea of Thieves, and look at these heritage games. One big compilation, everybody can enjoy it. We're honoring our heritage. We're not afraid of it. Kind of miss those talks.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you feel about that.
Just show us the games. No, I think no. I think there should be like an extended show afterwards, like E3 used to have, where they'd talk about and have the interviews and stuff, and you get a few more details. Now it's just in a fucking blog post. And it's really boring. So yeah, it's great. It's digestible, but for people who are really invested in projects or want to know more about it, Sea of Thieves is a great example, because I remember when they announced that, I wanted to see the interviews on like what this game actually is about. And we have lost that since E3 has sort of evaporated.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I also miss everyone having their showcase in the same week. Like with E3 disappearing, it's just sort of Summer Game Fest, which is shit most of the time. No offense, Jeff Keighley. Yeah, it is usually shit. Ubisoft has just gone down the pan entirely in the last sort of 5 years or so. EA is non-existent. Sometimes you'd get like a good few games from EA outside like FIFA. Sony does their own thing, which is horrendous a week early, and Nintendo just sort of twiddled their thumbs. Mind you, Nintendo's Direct will probably be good, but yeah, like it's no longer gaming Christmas. It's just like gaming Easter. And that's relying. It's relying on Microsoft having a good show, basically, for games that are coming out in the next fucking 20 years or something. Like, how many games did we see that are coming out this year?
A lot of them did not have a date at all.
Which is, no date is a big no-no for me, unless they have an idea that it's coming out within the next 18 months.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's finding that balance between dev talk, passion, and showing off games.
We need stuff to look forward to in the far-flung future, but when some of these games have been revealed 4 years ago already, and they're not out for another 18 months, it's just... do you remember we used to get sequels like every 2 or 3 years for games? And they were good as well.
Yeah.
Now it's been like 6 years and it turns out to be a pile of shit.
That's kind of the discussion this year a lot. Like a lot of other YouTubers are talking about, like Game Explain and Arlo. Like I follow those, and they're talking about it as well. Like the game industry making AAA games takes so long right now because we want the high fidelity, we want the big graphics, and you need more time and more developers and more money to do that. But every game starts to feel like it's the same game, just a little bit prettier, right? So, and that's not really what we want. It's what we think we want, but it's not really what we want. And people are getting sick of it.
Yeah, if they really wanted to go back to that, they'd have to have 2 dev teams working on a franchise and alternating. So
maybe or just focus on something else, like just focus on the art direction instead of the graphical fidelity. I don't know. It depends what people want, right? Because I don't really care about the most realistic graphics, as long as the art direction is nice. I don't know if that's the same for the young people today. I can't answer that for them.
I think I don't think any of my favorite games particularly have the best fidelity and graphics, but they have amazing art direction. Sea of Thieves is one of those games. Although actually I did see that, I think in a recent review for the PS5 version, one of the reviewers said it was ugly.
Sea of Thieves?
Yes.
Oh.
What the fuck have they been playing?
Yeah. What other amazing game are you playing that you can't see that Sea of Thieves is still beautiful?
But yeah, I agree with that. I think, sometimes when I look at older games and I see how badly photorealistic games have aged, you think, oh, the graphics used to be really good. The newer version isn't actually that good. You see the newer version, you're like, okay. Go back to the old one, you're like, oh, okay, the new version does look like a lot better. Even going from Elden Ring to Dark Souls 3, I know that's like 6 years difference. But I remember Dark Souls 3 looking like Elden Ring, but it does not look like Elden Ring. Elden Ring looks so much better. And that's not a photorealistic game.
Yeah, it's kind of like the mix because I do like playing very realistic games every once in a while,
Yeah,
but it's not the majority of the games I play.
yeah.
Yeah,
Some
I mean,
games,
I play a lot on my Switch, so there you go.
yeah. Some games get away with it really well. Like I think the latest Resident Evil games look fantastic,
Mm,
and they're not like the most photorealistic, but
mm.
they look really good. I don't know how to describe it. Um, but yeah, I think it's like you say, it's all about art style and efficiency.
Yeah, we'll see if the game industry will adjust their course to what we want.
No, no, they just run it into the ground because that's what these companies do. They're already
Yeah,
doing it
right.
right now.
Yeah. Let's talk about how they're ruining Sea of Thieves then. Uh, let's I try not to be too negative, but here you go again. Just
It's
I'm just
satire. It's satire, Blubber.
it's
But you're telling the
yeah, I
truth. That's why it's good satire.
know. Yeah, but let's talk about Sea of Thieves. Let's talk about their trailer for season 13. They showed it at the showcase. It was really short. It was about 1 minute. In it, we see Flameheart breaking out of his coffin and taking seat in the Reaper's hideout. It's not the lair, but the hideout. We also see the Telltale crew interacting with the Burning Blade. And there's also a scene where we see a bunch of skellies on an island with one main skeleton holding a red orb. Like I said before, the entire trailer is just a minute. It's also set to this amazing pop song that just oozes pirate fantasy. So what do you make of it?
It was the worst D3 trailer we've ever had.
It is, and it's
By
strange,
far.
right?
By far.
Because last year we got Captaincy, right?
No.
Or the year before that.
Yeah.
I'm getting old, right? Time moves faster. But that trailer was great. That was awesome. It oozes Rare,
Yep.
the Rare humor. Robin Beanland composed a original song for that trailer. There were jokes in that. There was a reference to Absolute Pixel, the genie. There was a reference there that was really cool. And that trailer was better than the content we got for it. This time, the content we're gonna get is a brand new world event that we can control ourselves.
Yeah.
People are really excited for it. Yet the trailer should be the most exciting thing, but it feels so commercial, right? It blends with the other trailers. No small thanks to that pop song.
Yeah. The song choice was horrendous.
It was.
For a game that is unique and doesn't do a lot of things, well, we'll get to that. For a game that's unique and there's nothing else like it on the market, the marketing and branding recently has just gone to the most generic and boring marketing I can think of. It's so safe, but Sea of Thieves trailers are always fantastic. Like, think back to, I guess maybe E3 2015 was quite basic, but 2016, you had the gameplay trailer where the people were playing it, and you had that awesome sort of reversing shot of like loads of different things, a cinematic one. 2017 was gameplay as well. But then you sort of go towards E3 2018, and you had that awesome CG trailer with Madame Olivia with the red orb showing off Forsaken Shores and Cursed Sails.
Olivia is Portmerrick, right?
No, Olivia is Plunder.
Sanctuary. Thunder. I thought it was
yeah.
Sanctuary. That
the trailer happens in Plunder.
Okay.
Because in the storm, isn't it? And then what happened in 2019? We didn't have anything in 2019. It was the exception, wasn't it?
Was it?
I think so, because they were between anniversary. Then obviously 2020, there was no E3, but we had the Gamescom training with the pets. And then when things were back to normal, 2021, we had Pirates of the Caribbean, which was insane. And we had Captaincy trailer. And the Monkey Island trailer was fantastic as well. And then we just go to this where, oh yeah, I might as well have played Bad to the Bone.
Yeah. And the thing that I'm curious about, like, does this work? Because I think it doesn't, because we can remember all the other trailers because they were so good. Now it blends with all the other trailers. Like, that can't be good for the game, right? You want to stand out. It doesn't stand out anymore.
I think they saw the success of the PS5 trailer and thought, this is what people want. And that's great for advertising a platform release. But for your biggest villain ever, who's no longer the biggest villain ever, let's face it, who's just like a footnote now in the lore, is coming back to bring back a ship and skeleton camps and shit. And you just do that generic trailer with like no dialogue from him or any explanation of what's going on. And you just shove a crap song to it. And it's like, oh yeah, Sea of Thieves. Like, do you guys really want to make money or what?
Yeah, that's indeed the other thing I'm miffed about, because Sea of Thieves is available for 6 years now. We've been hyped up for Flameheart since almost the beginning. And this should be the crescendo. This should be the explosion of all that build up, and it just falls flat.
Yeah.
And it sucks, man.
The year of Flameheart, by the way.
Yeah. Indeed. And I, like, we talked about this on previous podcasts, like what are we going to get? Like, is it just going to be gameplay, like the Burning Blade? All right, it's here. Flameheart is just sitting in the lair as an NPC. And in the back of my mind, I was like, no, it can't be it. Because it can't be it. Like, this is this is the big moment in the lore. But yeah, it seems like that's exactly what it's going to be. Yeah.
I think I cast my mind back to when Mike was talking on the not our podcast, on theirs, second best podcast, maybe third. He said, how do you envision a force of nature like Flameheart? How do you do him justice? And after talking about this, and obviously he's been delayed, and it comes to the actual time to bring him back, and he's just in a chair, and he just appears. There's no explanation of where he's been, because he's actually not been back, has he? He's still in the coffin, isn't he?
Yes, which was also a nice confirmation. Thanks for that, Rare.
Yeah,
because we saw him in another trailer, like at the table, but apparently that's also not canon anymore. So the actual lore is it's Stitcher Jim slowly transforming into Flameheart, and that's why he's been in the coffin. Like, the transformation takes a very long time, like over a year.
Yeah.
And now that transformation is complete, and he can get out of the coffin. That's how we should interpret it, right?
That's how I'd interpret it, yeah.
Yeah. And there's no additional story attached to that. Do we still have hopes for the Tasha story to get into this?
Well, we've got June's update, which is next week, for something to happen. So in that time,
we still have hope?
I think it's going to be part of it. I think she's going to end up painting a picture of him or some shit, and that's how he's going to get the sword. Something to do with that.
Yeah, but okay. But will that be an event? Will it require player? Okay.
No, not at all. 0%.
Yeah. So just some additions to the Sea of Thieves world. Like, we might see a painting, we might see the blade disappear. But then it's just going to be dialogue, and then the season 13 rolls out with the new content.
Yeah, and the throne will be built, and the burning blades all back together, and the skeleton camps are finished in 3 updates.
Yeah. It's a bit of a pity.
It's lazy, is what it is. Sorry, it's harsh, but as someone who sat here and who's been supporting the game for 6 years and has been very patient with waiting for these story threads to come to fruition. And when it actually comes to it, it's just thrown away because it doesn't make money. And people want sandbox stuff instead, because we can't have story and gameplay at the same time. That's impossible, even though we had it for like 5 years. It just really rubs me the wrong way. And it's not just a case of like, oh, is Rare going to commit to the story? Because I know not everyone's a big fan of it. Not even the story fans are a fan of it now, apparently. But it's like, what else are they not going to commit to in the future outside of just the story? Because we've already had retcons in terms of that, and we've obviously lost gameplay because of it. Now what's next? Like, oh, when people are bored of sandbox stuff, are we going back to quality of life updates? When they're bored of that, are we going back to like no updates at all? It's just Emporium stuff. You have to ask
Yeah.
yourself these questions.
Yeah. Yeah, it's dumb. I'm just disappointed because this should have been the big event for the game.
Yeah.
Or maybe the second biggest event, like the big event is obviously the captain, I think.
Which is concerning, actually, because, how are those story threads going to play out now?
No idea. Like, I think a trailer with some pop music.
With Bad to the Bone, though, this time, please.
It kind of sucks, and I think you're losing longtime players if you keep this up.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, like the lore kept me invested and kept me playing.
Yes.
And now that it's gone, I feel less inclined to be invested in Sea of Thieves, which sucks considering I should be one of the biggest fans.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's not good, Rare. That's not good.
It's interesting you say that, right? I think this is going to be a bumper episode, believe it or not, because we've got a lot to say on this.
Think?
Yeah. You've opened up a can of worms here. But do you remember when we just used to, like, even when stuff wasn't going on in Sea of Thieves, we used to hop on and we used to get excited and debate what's going on with the lore as a crew while we played? That was like a big conversation piece. But I think Rare has severely undervalued how much the why affects your enjoyment of a game.
Yes.
And they nail the what in seasons at the moment, but there's just no why. Or the why is bad. So, it's going to be great to use the Burning Blade in the skeleton camps, but why is it all here?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you might as well just have no characters at all, no story, no world building. You just plonk things in the Sea of Thieves, and we just do things. It's just really sterile.
I agree. I totally agree. And we will get some why, but it's going to be very small compared to last, because we had explanations for everything. Like even the Fort of the Damned had a really nice explanation that you could fell in the game, and of course you had the Tall Tales and the adventures to keep us going. But then with the Outlaws, for example, that should have become a lore explanation too. Like, suddenly we can dive. Like, how is that not explained? Like, there's just this Outlaws and just purely gameplay.
Yeah.
Why is the Battle of the Sea of Thieves right now? What are we battling for? That's not explained.
It's clear that Adventures failed because they got cancelled. But I think Rare's taken that and they've sort of looked at the data and thought, people don't like the story. No, people don't like time-limited missions that have underwhelming gameplay. Because you look at the, Lost Sands, and I would say that's definitely a high point for the game.
Yeah.
Shrouded Deep was another one. And they just sort of fell flat after that. And a lot of them were just sailing fetch quests. And then you had I think the Hunter's Cry was a real turning point. How that just was ruined by a poor gameplay decision.
Oh, yeah.
When they were warned about it, but they went with it anyway, and it turned out to be the worst adventure because of it. Yeah, but people obviously like the Tall Tales, so why can't we give those a go again?
Or just one or two, like a year, like even that would be good enough to keep our excitement going.
Yeah, or more stuff like Legend of the Veil.
Yeah,
things like that.
Yeah, so a little disappointed, and again, we've talked about this plenty of times, but it all comes, thanks to this trailer too. Like, it keeps reinforcing, like, we're not going to go back to how it used to be. It's going to be more corporate and more commercial, and it just feels bad.
Yeah.
I also wonder how new players look at this. Like, obviously, the trailer was not only shown at the Xbox Showcase, but also on their official channels. So it's also aimed for the new players, like the PlayStation players. Like, how do they feel about that? Like, would it have been smarter to have a lore trailer with some new music? Or do you think, for the new players, it is smart to do this pop song minute trailer to get their attention?
I think they've missed the trick that if they do something that's kind of lore heavy, as people dive into the universe of Sea of Thieves, and that includes sort of like content outside the game, but You got to sell books, you got to sell comics, you got to sell plushies, eventually.
Mm-hmm.
If everything just sort of happens, there's no investment. And you see people invested in different universes because of the story. It's not because of you can do cool shit like shoot yourself out of a cannon. That's why people do like Sea of Thieves, don't get me wrong. But to be truly invested in a universe, you can't just have a nice aesthetic in the game to be fun. It needs to have substance as well. So yeah, imagine putting this really sick trailer, like sort of in the vein of Herald of the Flame. Like imagine putting something similar to that out and people are like, whoa.
Yeah.
Who's this Flameheart guy? Like, maybe I should look into this more. That update looks sick. I want to know who Flameheart is. He's so cool. But no.
I maybe play the Tall Tales.
Maybe play the Tall Tales. Maybe buy some, lore stuff from the Emporium. Even better.
And please, dear listeners, let us know how you feel about it. I kind of know. Like, I've watched my Discord. I watched other messages. Like, people are disappointed with the trailer because it does feel a bit more commercial and not focused on the lore. But do you really care, dear listener? Do you just want the gameplay? Do you just want a burning blade and don't care about the story attached to it? Please let us know. Are you ready to move on?
Well, we'll see of Thieves, yeah.
Yeah.
No. I'm ready to move on with the podcast.
Yeah. Nothing else about this trailer you want to talk about? Maybe the one guy that's holding the orb, that one skeleton.
Yeah, that's a nothing bagger, mate.
All right, moving on. No, but seriously, like, is that a character we think we can meet in season 13?
Probably something to do with the temples. I don't think it's going to be a character. I think it's just going to be a skeleton Captain Reskin.
And we defeat then, or what? Well, or he's just there waiting for us with the orb to collect?
Both. So obviously you can do it as part of the Burning Blade crew, or you can do it as a non-Burning Blade crew. So you get the orb from him if you're friendly. You have to kill him if you're not.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I am kind of excited about that because I do like the world changes every time. And the world is changing. We do get these dig sites. So I'm excited to play those.
Yeah. At least the environment work will be cool. And hopefully music from Robin and Chloe.
Yeah, of course. No, I've got no worries about that. Yeah. But moving on, something else that was shown in the Xbox showcase was a trailer to the new Perfect Dark game. And most of our listeners, they know, at least I hope they do, because Perfect Dark used to be a Rare franchise. It also has 3 release games so far. There's also a ship set based on Perfect Dark that's in the Pirate Emporium. I also made a video about that. And not only the ship, but also as a franchise as a whole. So if you are not in the know, check out that video and you will be all up to speed. And the link to that video will be found in the description. But let's talk about the trailer, because the trailer shows Joanna diving from a plane to a futuristic city in the desert. I think it's Cairo, because I saw the name Cairo pop up in the trailer, so I think it's Cairo.
You reckon?
It could, I don't know, it could have been, I saw the name, but it could have been like an outpost to Cairo or New Cairo, because they are actually building a New Cairo as we speak. But that's besides the point. She uses some gadgets, like a voice replicator. She uses that to get into the deeper areas of that city. We see her doing some mirror edge stuff like climbing and jumping, which really got me excited. That looked really fun. And the trailer closed with some combat in which we see a lot of environment changes. Like the environment is really responding to her actions. And overall, it looked really good. So, did you like it?
Yeah, I think it looks really good, to be fair.
Yeah.
Something I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, we were so worried about it because they were taking their time.
Mm-hmm.
So some of us were thinking, they're in development hell, which usually results in a game that isn't that great. But I have no problems with this. It does look like a good game.
Yeah.
What we've seen, yeah.
Yeah. I'm hoping the levels are sort of open-ended, sort of linear and how do I explain this? Have you ever played Dishonored before?
No.
Okay, so Dishonored has singular levels, but they're open-ended, so there's not just one linear path through them. If they did something like that for each of the levels, because obviously there's a lot of stealth and sort of gadgets you can use, I did get the vibe from the trailer. This game has the potential to be really, really good.
Yeah, and I can confirm it actually because I was listening to the Conversation podcast where they also talked about Perfect Dark. They read some other articles about it, and yes, there will be alternate paths you can take in the levels.
Nice.
Which also sets that game apart, right? Because we've played GoldenEye, we've played Perfect Dark, and those games are really like, oh, this is the level, and these are the missions you need to do. Like, it's not really going from A to B. A to B. It's like, I need to do A, B, and C. I don't know where to start. It can be anywhere in this level, those objectives.
Yeah.
And that's what sets it apart from the other shooters like Call of Duty, which is like, oh, this is basically a tunnel or a set piece. You need to go from A to B. Sorry.
Yeah, we don't need open world games either. Like, this sort of scale of game is very nice. I think it fills a very good, not even niche, a very good gap in the market. Just a nice sort of nice position to be in with every game's an open world game, or the other games is far too linear. I think this is not explored enough.
Yes, exactly. This used to be really popular, and it's just a return to form. And hopefully people will notice that, because when the trailer just started, I was like, oh, what is this? What is this game? It's another generic shooting game that's not going to do well. And then I was like, oh no, this is Perfect Dark. No, it's not going to be like the other shooters. This is actually a return to form of the objective-based stealth shooter. So and there's also going to be plenty of action. There's some exploration. It has it all.
Yeah, it looks really good. Hopefully, it's not too far out.
No release date. So I also got the feeling it was the first level.
Yeah.
And obviously, usually they do show the early levels to keep things a surprise. But in the trailer, like, you've played the original Perfect Dark, right?
Yes.
Okay. So in the original Perfect Dark, Joanne is working for the Character Institute, and the rival company they are working against is called Datadyne. But in this trailer, we saw a Datadyne logo pop up in the interface, and she was looking for Carrington and fighting people associated with Carrington. So I can deduce fairly safely, I would say, that she, at this moment in time, she's working for Datadyne. So that's interesting, right?
Do you think? Do you know if it's a reboot or it's an?
Oh, it's a reboot.
Okay.
It's a reboot. Yeah. It's 100% a reboot. So I think the story is going to be about she's working for Datadyne and realize, oh, actually, I'm working for the bad guys. And when that switch is going to happen, I don't know, maybe halfway through, maybe after the first level, I don't know, but that's the vibe I'm getting from the trailer.
Yeah.
Do you think it's smart to do a reboot?
Yeah, I think when you've had to wait this long for another installment in the franchise, I think it's fair to make a reboot, as long as you're not going to step on anyone's toes with it.
Yeah, I agree. Do you like the design of Joanna?
She looks quite old. I don't know.
Yeah.
She looks older. She doesn't look old. So that's probably the wrong.
She looks experienced.
Yeah, she looks experienced.
Bit weathered. Yeah,
a bit weathered.
Like she's like I describe it as she's an attractive woman still, but she's not like a supermodel or something like that.
I'm just gonna bring up that image again. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. She looks like she already has kids.
She looks like a modern Joanna Dark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I
like her design. Yeah.
I think that's just a bad photo. That's better. Yeah, she definitely looks older, but then again, that could just be the graphics of the older games. I like it.
Yeah.
I like her design.
Yeah, me too. Anything you want from this game that you didn't get from the trailer yet?
A release date? No. I want to know how long the game is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want an 8-hour game. I think 20 hours would be sort of perfect with side objectives. And I don't want multiplayer either, because that's just going to, do the Microsoft thing where microtransactions time.
Yeah. Yeah, I also don't want multiplayer. I never got into the multiplayer of Perfect Dark at all. I have played it, just didn't like it. Also not a big fan of the GoldenEye multiplayer, so that's where I stand. And it doesn't need it. I have a multiplayer game. It's called Sea of Thieves. What I do want is a relatively short game with a good story, but with a high replayability. We already talked about it will have alternate paths. I really want difficulty options agent, secret agent, and perfect agent.
Yeah.
If you play in perfect agent, not only is the AI harder, there's also more objective. There's also a bit more story if you can finish it on the higher difficulty settings. So, and I really want the replayability to come from that. So yeah, that's what I want.
Cool.
Oh, and aliens. Because spoiler alert, there are aliens in the original Perfect Dark games, and it also has a kind of goofy vibe that I'm kind of missing from this trailer. It looks very serious, and that could work, but I kind of like the goofy stuff from the Perfect Dark franchise as well. Like an alien that's called Elvis, and that wears I think it was pants or a shirt with the American flag, and I was like, oh, that's goofy, that's fun. I want stuff like that.
Maybe the Easter egg.
Maybe some cheese laying around. For those that are in the know. But yeah, we're happy with it. It looks like a good game.
Yeah,
that's all we
can
ask for.
Game. Don't fuck it
up. Some other games, and we'll go over these quickly. I'll just name them. I'll tell you my opinion, and if you want to chip in, go ahead. We saw Doom: The Dark Age. Looks fun, looks brutal. That's what Doom needs to do. I'm not really that interested in it. We saw State of Decay 3.
Doom was my maybe second favorite game of that.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. I really like Doom and Doom Eternal. I thought they were amazing. And this looks just as good, if not better.
That's great. Are you still excited? Because gameplay-wise, it looked quite similar to the other games.
That's what I want. So
right.
More of the same, please.
Okay, that's great.
Just chuck me some new weapons and stuff,
Aye. State of Decay 3. We only saw gameplay. No, sorry, a trailer, right?
It was a weird sort of mix between some gameplay and CGI, wasn't it?
It was. So I still don't really get a feel about that game. I did like the first one. I like the simplicity of that.
Yeah.
The second one added stuff like I didn't want, plus the stuff that stayed the same too much, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I didn't really like State of Decay 2, but I want to see what 3 is like. I might be interested. We saw South of Midnight. We saw some gameplay of that. Looks fun. Doesn't get me too excited, but it looks fun enough. Then we have Dragon Age.
Wow. God.
See, I'm not a big Dragon Age fan, so I didn't notice. I saw the trailer and was like, this doesn't really feel like Dragon Age to me. This seems a bit commercial. This seems a bit too focused on the new generation. But whatever, maybe Dragon Age fans will like it. I don't know. I'm not a Dragon Age fan. But
it looks.
But yeah, then I saw the backlash.
The trailer was shocking. It looked like a hero shooter. Mm-hmm. Oh God.
I still hope it's going to be good for the Dragon Age fans. Apparently, I'm just repeating what I've heard. Apparently, Dragon Age has a history with bad trailers but good games. I hope that's going to be the case with this one as well. But yeah, people were not happy. We also saw Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Game looks good.
You're hyped for that, right?
Yeah, and I'm not a massive Indiana Jones fan. I like the films, but this game just looks like Wolfenstein within Indiana Jones skin, and I'm here for that. So excited to play that one this year before it gets delayed.
not that excited since I know there's so many games that I want to play. I'm like, this one is a bit low on the list. But I will say, if it's great, if people say, "Wow, this is one of the best game must play," then I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot. But I'm not that excited yet. We saw Starfield DLC, which was surprising
Was it?
since people still play the game.
Oh, right. Okay, that is a surprise. No. I thought Starfield was okay. I still need to finish it.
Okay. I didn't even know you played that far.
I didn't play that far.
Okay.
My PC was getting a hammering from it, so I'm going to wait till I upgrade my PC, or actually just build a new one, and then I'll finish it.
Mm. I played it, and I was really bored with it. It's all the bad things about Bethesda games came together in Starfield for me.
But with long loading screens.
Long loading screens, just walking from A to B with nothing there. Just doing quests that don't feel rewarding. It was a bit boring. The DLC looked great. I'll say that. I was like, oh wow, this looks more interesting and exciting than anything I've seen from the main game. So I'll give it that. We saw Avowed, just a little bit more gameplay, a little bit more story. I'm excited to play it. Yeah, not super excited, but I'm excited to play Avowed.
Yeah.
We also saw Fable, which was also nice to know that, that's a game that's coming out. You were a little bit mixed on it, right?
I'm just a bit concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Because the female lead is ugly. No, just a joke. That's a joke. Sorry. I've been spending too much time on Twitter. No, I'm just I'm a bit concerned because they haven't really told us anything about the game. And I was a little bit concerned that it was implying that you play as that character. Which would be fine, but Fable's an RPG and you create your own character. But and then again, I think the trailer was just talking about the villains. So we'll see. I'm skeptical about it. I'm interested to see what Playground Games can do. But it's more so just not knowing what's going on with the game, really, other than it's coming out next year and we know shit all about it. Voice cast sounds good, though, so that's going to be a good thing.
I did not have those concerns. Like, I'm fine with playing a character that's predetermined. Like, I'm fine with playing with either the female or that male character. I'm not really adjusting it. I do get what you're saying, because it is an RPG and you want to be your own thing. If there's a story reason for it, I'm fine. It just needs to be good. If it was for a game like Oblivion or Starfield or Fallout, that this is your character and you can't change that, then that would have been over the line for me. But with Fable, I'm fine with it.
Blubber, I just want to be able to fart in people's faces as a character that can only grunt or laugh. That's what I want from Fable.
That's 50% of the game.
Exactly.
And then,
sorry, it just reminded me. Every time I played Fable 2, the town crier would always have me like crying with laughter. He's the town crier after all. How he'd just turn up and go, "The time is very late." It just stitches me up every time.
All right. Well, some people are easy to please.
Exactly. See, I'm a simple man.
Well, we are all. Something else that pleased you greatly was the last game of the show, wasn't it?
I was a very patient boy. I waited the whole show for it, wasn't I?
Because it was Gears of War E-Day.
Oh, wow! What a trailer! Just it was a complete surprise. Although we knew Gears was coming, but to not do Gears of War 6 or a remake and do a sort of light reboot / prequel was the best thing they could have done for the franchise, I think. And I know a few of the people who are working the Coalition just from when I used to cover Gears content. And I know there's a lot of good heads over there that have replaced older members. And the guys who are sort of in charge of the story and lore are massive Gears heads. So I think the story for this game will be in safe hands.
Okay, that's good to know. Like, I'm not a big fan. Like, I played the first one and the second one, but I did not finish them. Yeah.
I love love Gears of War, even though I had my gripes of Gears 5, it turned out to be a really good game. If it launched how it finished, it would have been one of the best. But it's nice to have a break, and I'm looking forward to diving in, hopefully next year.
But you said it was a reboot, right?
It's not. It's a light reboot,
like Star Wars,
almost like Halo Infinite, but that didn't work out too well. But it's a prequel, and it's about Marcus and Dom, and it retells the events of E-Day. But I think you could just tell from the character designs that it's a light reboot because they're not the same as their sort of canon appearances in the older games. So yeah.
Okay, well, I'm excited that you are excited. What does it stand for, E-Day?
E-Day stands for Emergence Day, so it's emergence for when the locusts emerged from underneath the ground and attacked the humans.
Gotcha. All right, that's cool. Well, I'm happy for you that it's there. Some games that were missing from the show were Everwild.
Yeah.
All right. Nothing to add. Apparently, it's still in development. We just need to be a bit patient. Like we saw with Perfect Dark, which was apparently in the development hell. I'm confident that it's going to be a good game now. Maybe Everwild will do the same when we do see a new trailer for that. I really hope so.
See you in 2027.
Fuck yeah. Also missing from the show was a rumored Fallout 3 or Oblivion reboot.
Yeah.
Which would have been really, really cool. But we did not get that.
Reboot or remake?
Yeah, remake.
Remake. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting, isn't it? I would have thought they'd done something more than Fallout 76 to try and tie in with the show's popularity, but I think maybe Fallout 3's ready to go. It's just going to release with the show next year, season 2. That makes most sense, right?
Yeah. If they announced it now, if it's true, if it's in development and they announced it now, it would have taken the wind out of Fallout 76.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to do that. And this is going to be another season of the show. So why not release them?
Oblivion's interesting because that was meant to be out next year. I think maybe it was this year, actually. I can't remember from that leaked document. And we know that leaked document's true because it has 100% come true apart from Dishonored, which I think was probably shut down, actually, because of the store closures. Fuck you, Microsoft, by the way. But yeah, interesting. Maybe Oblivion will be saved for a run-up to Elder Scrolls 6, maybe? I think we'll see gameplay for that next year.
That will be really cool. Like, I love both of them to bits, so a remake would be really great.
Yeah, 2026 is my expected date for Elder Scrolls 6.
All right. For Elder Scrolls and the Oblivion reboot?
Probably earlier that year, I reckon.
Okay. Yeah, I say reboot, but I mean remake.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's bring it back to Sea of Thieves before everybody's clicking away again. We also going to discuss some of the news, and normally we don't do that, but there was some interesting stuff. And let's begin with the ship sail speeds. They're finally getting adjusted because the brig was a bit OP, and we all felt it, and they're going to change it. So sidewind and crosswind is a bigger factor now. So the more sails go with the wind, the faster the ship goes. Flat sails won't work as well against headwind. So angling in headwind will be better as well. So how do you feel about those changes?
Just, I get why they're doing it. Why is it taking 5 years to sort this out?
Yeah.
Like it's not going to change how the game feels. It's just going to make running even easier, which is already piss easy. So the brig is slightly harder to catch the sloop now.
Yeah, I like it because it feels a bit more realistic, especially with the flat sail not working against headwind.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, so it feels a bit better. Like it and I like that. Yeah. Wait, do you think the parking a brigantine will become easier then?
Maybe there'll be less drift now.
Yeah. So I'm actually I am excited about it. Just need to play with it.
I don't know. It's just maybe it's apathy towards Sea of Thieves at this time, but it's not very exciting, I have to say.
Okay, fair enough. Do the changes to the double barrel pistol excite you then?
No.
Okay. I'm just quickly going to mention it. There's a quicker charge speed now. You get more accurate hip fire, and the shot fired from a charged shot does 90 damage now. So that's almost an instant kill.
The problem is the double barrel by design is just handicapped compared to all the other weapons. And that's because it requires A, charging time, or B, you have to shoot at least 2 shots plus a follow-up strike from something else to get a kill. Now, no other weapon in the game requires you to do that. So it's just automatically the worst gun. And I just know from the sort of testing I did recently is that the blunderbuss and eye of reach will just stay on top because of how the kill times work and the benefit of having the spread, the spread of pellets from the blunderbuss being a consistent way to do damage at mid to close range, and the eye of reach getting a buff when you swap into it in the aim down sight speed and the firing speed. So yeah, there's I can't see this sort of changing the meta at all. It's just by design the gun's just slower than everything else.
Yeah, it's. I tell you this, it's not the changes I would have made to the double barrel flintlock. Because we talked about it, right? Well, the range, obviously.
Yeah.
And the reload speed.
Yeah.
And they're not changing that. So I don't know. Maybe it'll get a little bit better, a little bit more viable for PvP, but the other weapons are still going to be reigning supreme.
Yes.
Yeah. So a change I'm happy with is commendation rebalance, which we saw this coming. Because the requirements for some commendations were a bit too high, like killing sharks with a double barrel flintlock or carrying loot on that line. We talked about this, or also cashing in the Horn of Fair Winds is way too high. I don't mind a little bit of grind and Sea of Thieves, but this is was just a bit boring. So I'm glad they adjusted that. And also, I don't know which, but some individual commendations are now crew shared commendations. Do you know which ones they were talking about? Because they didn't say.
No, I haven't got an idea.
Okay, but which is also always good when they do that adjustment. Because we talked about this a couple of podcasts ago. Like the guy who makes these requirements for the accommodations obviously doesn't play the game. So I'm glad they listened to feedback and did the adjustments that were needed.
Yeah.
All right. I was expecting a bit more reaction from you with these topics.
It doesn't excite me, to be fair, mate. That's pretty ungrateful of me, I know. But I kind of sort of feel like the season's already over and we still got a month left of it. And I feel like a lot of these changes shouldn't have been changes. They should have been with the release of the season, but here we are.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Have you finished all your levels yet?
For
this season?
Oh no, this is my least played season. I'm like 50 in the season pass.
I also have not reached level 100 yet.
Is that because you're not excited about the really good Pyro Legend rewards?
No, it's just I'm excited about other games. That's the reason. Yeah,
I think that certainly has not helped me because I'm excited more about other games at the moment. But
Yeah. Which it's funny because we always talked about like how can people not finish their levels? Ooh, you finish them in the first week, and now here we are, halfway through the season, not level 100 yet.
Hey, no complaints from me. I'm not playing, so I'm not getting the rewards. It's no one's fault but mine.
I will get it. Community weekend's coming up. I'm sure I'll get it there.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, we will be playing.
Yeah, we will be playing. We'll be there. We'll be there. We'll show our faces.
All right. All right. Let's complain some more. Let's complain about the Pirate Emporium again, because I've gone over to the dark side, right? I'm fully in the dark side now.
All right. I don't want to hear you complain about it now. Debbie Downer. God. So negative all the time.
Because first I was like, all right, there's enough cosmetics in the game. They need to make money. I don't care. And now I'm like, oh no, and I'm hating it every time I see the Emporium updates.
They've done exactly what I asked them to. No.
It feels really greedy, especially when we're getting new reskins now. And we talked about this off podcast. Like it does look nice. Like it's a nice recolor of the Dark Watch set. But again, it's a recolor, and they're charging full price for it. And again, it's the most popular set, like what all the new kids buy. So it's obviously done for money. Not only that, but they have a sale right now. It goes from June 10th till June 17th. If you spend 2,000 coins, you get an exclusive Emporium trinket. And I don't really like that. I'm fine if it was any player over the course of the entire game. If you reach 2,000 coins, you will unlock the trinket. That would have been fine. I would actually endorse that. I'm like, yeah, that's a great incentive. And there's no real pressure, but it's exclusive. And that just rubs me the wrong way. So how do you feel about it?
I think you'll be very shocked to hear that I don't care. No. Yeah, you summarized it best. It's just another thing that has just happened to Rare recently, that the branding and the seasons and the crap trailers and the just sort of corporate nature coming back, and Microsoft are clearly working their magic there, aren't they? And the cash store has just been ridiculous recently. And obviously made a video about it, and everyone, it's like, oh yeah, it's not too bad. And I'm like, oh, what about now? Because it's only going to get worse. The curse for me really rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, the Stormstrike curse.
Yeah, the fact that you just, it was an unreleased one from the Plunder Pass from Season 10 or whatever it was. Like, you're still going to fucking pay for it now, aren't you? Even though you paid for the Plunder Pass before. Oh, and, every other Plunder Pass now is going to have a curse to catch up with, Season 10s and Season 12s. So there's going to be a curse at least every season that you have to pay for. And the gold shops are just getting scrapped. We're literally getting swords that have been completed for months and years, drip fed. And
boots. Don't forget the boots.
And the boots, yeah, they found some boots for us. And then you look at how bad the season pass Pirate Legend stuff is, and you look at how bad the earnable commendation stuff is, and all the pop-up ads. And I feel like I'm a cow to be bent over and milked. Thankfully, I'm very fortunate to get ancient coins in my position. Obviously, I'm not going to ignore that. But if I was in a different scenario and I wasn't getting, if you're the average player and you don't get ancient coins given to you, it's really fucking expensive having to buy all this stuff. But when the game's progression only, there's no progression then if your best cosmetics are locked behind a paywall. It's just too much at once, Rare. And I get you have to make money. No one's stupid. But it's just so tone deaf, and it's really disrespectful to your players. Yes, the updates are free. No, the game is not free. Were they not content with a massive cash injection from PS5 players? They've also got to milk them as well. Yeah, it doesn't feel like Rare to me.
Yeah, the thing that pushed me to the dark side was that you remove the incentive to play the game. Yeah. Because I really think this works well short term, money wise. Like, I want them to earn money. Don't get me wrong. I want Rare to have all the money, but I also want to play the game and feel enjoyment from the game. So short term, I think it's good money wise, but long term, like, there's gonna be no goals to earn cosmetics in game. Like, if the Stormstrike curse was attached to maybe accommodation, maybe a tall tale, maybe a fun grind to do, then you were like, oh, hey, I'm gonna play the game and actually get this shit done. Like the Sunken curse, for example. People want to earn that, and you engage with the content, you engage with all those shrines. and you give players an incentive to play and earn it. But if you put all that stuff in the Emporium, you're like, why should I play the game? I just buy it, and why am I gonna buy stuff for a game that I don't play? So
Yeah.
like I said, short term, I'm sure it works. Long term, it's not working. Yeah.
It's also a case of like the seasons drop and there's just nothing else for the rest of the season. We've gone back to this again. You might get the odd event or something or community weekend, but that's not content, guys. No offense. And I know there is an element of work that goes into everything, including Emporium cosmetics, but you're asking for us to spend more money, your player base, and there's just nothing to do mid-season. You can just grind your commendations for your, basic flintlock colors, and you'll be happy about it. We used to get adventures. We used to get, at least those events we used to get were something. We used to get build rat adventures. We used to have monthly updates, but now it's just like, oh, just twiddle your thumbs. You can expect some bug fixes if we can manage to get them out, but you have 2 Emporium updates in the mid-season. So look forward to those. And I'll tell you what as well, that's reminded me, with the swords, they're just added to previous commendations. So there's not like a new challenge for anyone to do. If you've done the challenge already, log on, you spend your gold that you've been stockpiling for the last few years, and that's it. The game's the same. You can go to the Emporium if you want. It's just not an engaging live service.
I kind of disagree, kind of agree. I'm fine with new cosmetics being tied to old accommodations. Like not everybody complete those accommodations.
Yeah.
I think it's good, but also add new stuff, right? So it needs to be both, and then it works well, I think.
Or tie it to a commendation that doesn't have the reward, at least. But if you're, it harms no one to do that, because if someone doesn't have that commendation, they can earn it. And if they do, well, they would have had it anyway, because you tied it to a commendation that everyone has already, like you're doing now. Yeah, for a game that supposedly sort of turned a new leaf in this year, like the seasonal content's really interesting, but everything else has just fallen so far behind. And this is someone who was very excited about this year for the game. And, to be honest, someone who's very optimistic about the game, is even seen is having apathy towards the game is not a good sign.
Yeah. A part comes because I'm friends with you.
That is, that's not true, because you've always been a lot more optimistic than me. In fact, I was optimistic about the season compared to you.
No. That's true. I'm just saying I'm getting a bit more negative because of you.
You cheeky fucker, honestly. You sat on the podcast about season 12 and you said to me that you weren't really fussed about the season, and I was really happy with it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, I agree. And I still stand by it. But let's be honest, like this season you're also playing less, right? So, and this is a season you are more excited about than me.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you, but you can't just say it's my fault that you're being negative, because you managed to shake it off for the past like 4 years I've known you up until now.
Yes. But see, that's what I'm talking about. Like I if it wasn't for you reinforcing the bad side of the Emporium every time, I would have more easily shrugged it off still.
I didn't say shit to you about the Emporium stuff. You said it to me first. I keep my mouth shut because I made my point ages ago about this stuff, and you brought it up and you wrote it into this podcast as well. Just so you know, listeners, this is not me being a bad influence. This is Blubber bringing his own ideas to the table. He's trying to deflect now.
No, it's true. Normally it was you always, and this time I really wanted to talk about the Emporium update.
To be fair, I will give you this, is that our sort of general sort of sailing group has a lot of, I don't want to say negative, because everyone likes to complain anyway about things that annoy them, but we have been very apathetic about this game recently, haven't we?
Yeah. And man, it's dumb because it's a combination of things, right? It's us playing for a very long time, but also we don't get the stuff as long-time players. We don't get the stuff we want
Yeah.
or we need. Yeah.
I'm not bored of the game. I just think the game's different now.
Yeah.
And just Rare is different. This is fucking depressing podcast, isn't it? But yeah, just I can't really. There's not a whole lot to be excited about apart from season 13, and we've already discussed about what the concerns are with that.
I'm gonna tie a knot to it.
Yeah, please do.
We complained a bit. We complained a lot. It was gonna be the theme of this podcast, anyways, considering the topics. But we do still love the game.
Yeah, we do. We love the game. This has just gone to such a depressing sort of pit almost. We still love the game. We're still going to play it this weekend for Community Weekend. We're still going to be playing Season 13. And we're still like going to Sotfest and stuff. It's just that it's very hard to be excited about a game that's just getting microtransactions at the end of a season. Basically, that's it. That's the crux of it, isn't it?
But please, dear listeners, let us know what you think, because we do want to know, like the stuff we are feeling. Are you guys feeling that too, or are we just some Debbie Downers? Just let us know. Yeah, we've come to the end of the podcast. I also want to remind our listeners that they can also find us on Spotify and Amazon Music. And in the description of this video, you can also find links to my Discord and to AShinyRay's channel. So check that out. But this is the end. Please leave your thoughts on the showcase in the comments. We do read all of them. And if you did listen to the end, just know that I love you more compared to our other subscribers. So thanks for listening and take care.
Take care, guys. Bye.